there's one thing that you wanted to talk about, or you suggested. I'm just going to read the message you sent me.
Okay.
Actually, wrestling has always been about great gimmicks. Some unbelievable, but yet attracted millions of tickets sold, such as The Undertaker, Kane, etc. But they're at a place now where they were a year ago. And without the great gimmicks, or even great stories, I'm a big proponent of time, but they spent too much time on the same talent without pushing the needle. And the newer talent just looks like the same old talent, the older talent that they've moved over. To me, Cody is boring. And so is Seth. And Paul Heyman is as good as he has just about wore out the welcome mat. Just an idea. So I think what you're getting at, Dutch, is that familiarity breeds contempt. Would that be fair to say what you're getting at with current crop of WWE stars?
Well, yeah, when you look at it now, it's been around so long, they're not new anymore. So that's why I am glad to see them doing something with the guys that
Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed that time.
Heyman has now. Now they have a story. It's all based on stories. And I've said time and again, it does take time. I realize that. But it's almost, it doesn't have to be, it almost seems like it's too long. And Seth has been around for how long?
Early 2010s. I don't know. On the main roster, about 13 years.
And Heyman's been there since what, the end of World War II?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You
still see the bomb damage on him.
But I think now when I'm watching wrestling, and I got to kind of agree with Vince. He's seen so much. I've seen so much. And the fans suffer from burnout. Unless there's something hot going on and you just happen to hear about it, you may not even watch wrestling. I've kind of quit watching wrestling right now because, if I hear about it, it's really something hot. Now, I may go back because of the Steiner kid and that going on to see how that progresses. So, but yeah, it reaches, and this has always been, not just now, but wrestling has suffered from this for years and years and years, is, when they hit a hot run, then they're going to hit a downturn and a hot run and a down. And it just is what goes up, what's it? You just got to come down. And when it gets hot again, I'll go back and start watching it again because of just to talk about it. But and Cody, to me, I think he's had his run, and they just told a really, really good story about Cody wanting to finish the story that everybody got caught up in. But now he's hit it, so I don't know where Cody can go now. Do you find Cody exciting?
I find him a good representative of WWE.
Let's take your reaction right then. You went.
Look, right. There's two things. I'll give you what it is. Cody is a good face of the company, and he puts on fine matches. Here's the problem with the matches, though, is that they're all the same. And I'm not just saying with Cody. I'm saying this with Cena. I'm saying this with Seth. I'm saying this with Roman Reigns. I'm saying this actually with CM Punk as well. Every single WWE main event is exactly the same. It is a cavalcade of finisher kickouts until one finisher works. And that's it. It's just so formulaic now. And here's the other thing.
And you've forgotten the entrances that take forever.
Yeah, the entrances take forever. They're all everything's the same. And I'll give you this, right? Steve Austin, during his absolutely, truly white-hot run, was about 2 years. Then he got injured with the neck thing and then he had to disappear. And he wasn't quite the same when he came back. But that was 2 years. And that was a really long run. Hulk Hogan's run was even longer, but that was an anomaly. Most people's runs, until you get sick of them or they need to do something else or they need to go to a different company or whatever, is not 15 years. I was thinking of Dolph Ziggler. He was with that company 19 years. And I was also thinking of this. In the 2010s, you'd have, for the most part, a tough time telling a show that was from 2012 apart from a show that was in 2018. There'd be some faces that different, but most of the faces were the same. And they'd even look the same. I'll give you another example. D-Generation X, the true, not the true one, but you know, the Triple H X-Pac, New Age Outlaws China run. An all-time legendary run. Lasted 1 year. That was it. It should have gone longer, quite frankly. But the fact is that original money-drawing run was 1 year, then they changed it. And there was always change happening. And you could argue that change happened too quickly in the Attitude Era. You can definitely argue now that not enough change happens these days. And everything's kind of the same again. It was fresh in 2023, and now it's the same in 2025. Nothing's different, really.
I can even not assume I know it. It's an arbitrary change anyway. It's whenever they decide to change it. It's not, and the writers and the bookers are trying to feel the vibe of the crowds. And, you know, if you go out there and the crowd's just not really humming, you know, you need to change something or get something else. Yeah, the D-Generation X, I think for them to maintain as hot as they were, I think it had another year run of that version. And then I think it would have died from lack of oxygen anyway, because the talent gets old. But now what I'm saying, you know, Seth has been around forever. Cody hasn't been around forever, but he was there before. And CM Punk, at least he left and then he came back. He has a story.
But he's been there 2 years. Cody Rhodes has been there 3.5 years. 3.5 years is a long time to see the same face over and over again. And when I say, you know, beforehand, John Cena was there every week for many, many years. Randy Orton's still there. I mean, he's almost like a living legend status now, which is different. But there are a lot of people there who've got 5 years plus tenure. There's a lot of the men, a lot of the women as well. There's not enough up and down.
I think it's harder. It's harder with the females to keep the females hot. Don't you think?
You think why?
I don't know. I just do. Because a lot of things you think that the females they would be easier in some ways, but they can be easier. But I think you need a little bit of a male interest in some of those stories, boyfriend, husband, or whatever. But that gets them a little more interesting. And a thing about the girls is they have so many of them now. I think less is more in that case. You think?
I've got one more thing I want to ask you, and this is an age thing. Is that I think WWE are becoming a bit ageist again. Maybe not in Tiffany Stratton's case or a couple of others, but for the most part, they won't give anybody a serious chance until they're in their 30s. And they're keeping some of the guys in the 20s. Either they're not hiring them or letting them work on the indies more, or just keeping them in NXT sort of beyond their usefulness in NXT where they could be plugged in on the main roster kind of thing. Trick Williams and other people, I guess.
Well, they used to, Vince, when he was in charge, if you were older than 30, he didn't want you.
35 was the cutoff, I think. For years, it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was if you're 36, too old.
Savage, Hogan, I mean, loads of other names like, you know, your Tito Santana's and, you know, on down kind of thing. Kurt Hennig. There were loads of people. Well, maybe not Kurt, but yeah.
But I think we're talking about the girls. You know, if you have a beautiful woman and all of a sudden you try to find the next beautiful woman and then the next, pretty soon it looks like a beauty pageant instead of a wrestling show. And you know, women, they're very vain to begin with. That's not saying anything bad about them, but they get jealous of each other. So to go in their locker room, which I couldn't go in, but even to be around them, you know, they were all talking about each other, gossiping about each other. and then said, "Oh, did you hear what so and so said about so and so?" Then all of a sudden, they're actually fighting in the dress in the dressing room. You say, "No, girls, stop. We want to save that for the ring." But how many girls do they have now?
Oh, in NXT, it's like 50-50, I think, but dozens and dozens. Probably 100, it's probably 100 plus women on the roster, I think, all told.
But you think too much?
What, women specifically?
Oh, in wrestling, to feature.
Depends who draws. It doesn't matter as long as they draw.
If you have too many, you're only going to have one or two that's going to stand out. At three at the most. I may, and at times they've had more, but I think in this case, less is more. Because I think you need to spend time on them, time on the gimmick, time on the stories. But if you got 20 or 30 women there, who do you zero in on? Now, guys are different, I think. I don't know why. But I think people are just used to seeing more guys, and wrestling is basically a male sport anyway.
Well, the viewership will bear that out as well, that men and women prefer to see men wrestling for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
Women's wrestling obviously has, their devotees and everything. But I think generally speaking, women weirdly prefer watching the men wrestle as well.
What about little people? We never see them anymore. I just thought about that. You can't use the term anymore. It's the M word.
It's because you're not looking down.
See? You can't even say that because you would be considered. What is the word for that? There got to be a word for it.
What, heightist?
Heightism?
Maybe.
I'm going to use a version of the word midgetism. So, you got to give them variety, and I think if you have too many of the girls, it works against you.